global reasons for the underperformance. You are required to give specific explanation for every stream where there is an underperformance or an overperformance. I think if we look at that, it can help us to contextualize the explanation that the governor has given. So,
before we do that, maybe the governor may want to confirm that conservancy administration charges is one of the underperforming revenue streams. Because the schedule that I have is actually perhaps the one that has performed much better. There is the greatest improvement in it from the summary of the revenue streams.
I think, Chair, that this is what I had wanted to request. I think the able senator is reading from either the Parliamentary Budget Office, because that document, if I can be able to have access to the document that he's referring to.
No, let me give guidance. In your financial statements, you have the original budget, the supplementary one, and your actual. So I think we can use that as a basis. But what Senator Wambua is referring to would be comparative of prior years, which is a document that belongs to you as an organization. The only advantage he has is that it's analyzed. It's analyzed stream by stream.
That's what I'm saying, Chair.
Yeah.
If I can be able to get a copy of the document that has been analyzed, so I can also be able to.
That's in order.
Yeah.
Clerks, just share that document with the governor so that it can help us. I think it's a 3-year analysis, performance trend analysis. So Senator Wambua, could you allow me that we don't start with conservancy? Let's start with the first stream. We just go through all the streams.
That's okay, Chair.
Now that the governor has a schedule. So maybe let's start with let's start from the top, Governor. You had on cess you collected 520 million, and
this is a document that is from the Senate, and from the Parliamentary Budget Office. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
I think it would be prudent for me to be allowed to also pull up the records on my side as well.
No,
because,
I mean,
because you see,
we won't have a problem. I can assure you.
Because there's some on face value. I do not want to start immediately stating that the figures are actually wrong or right. One thing I can confirm, is collectively over the years, collectively, even without necessarily amending the Finance Act or adding more taxes, the county government of Mombasa has been increasing its own source revenue.
Governor, I don't know why you are jittery.
No, Chair.
I don't know what's scary.
With my permission. Governor, it's a very simple exercise. When we go through the list, and if there are any discrepancies between what the PBO has prepared and the financials, we will see where we are not unreasonable.
In fact, in your financial statements, there is a statement there on statement of comparison of budget versus actual amounts. That's on the financial statements. I
want you to confirm.
Note number 10.
That is fine enough, Chair. We can be able to
actually that is just
work on it in
that is just
that
supplementary.
direction. That's not a problem.
But we could start from your disclosure of what your budget was and what your actual was, because there underneath you have even given a narration to explain the variances, and we can start from there, isn't it?
By all means.
So we start from cess. So cess, you had budgeted to collect 580 million. Along the way, you thought you could collect 200 million more and revise your budget to 780 million, but you only collected 520 million. Now, the question which you can help us understand even for the subsequent streams, what science or what maths do you use to decide that this year we shall collect 580 And along the way, you do a supplementary, you revise it to 780, but only collect 520. Is budgeting scientific and procedural, or are these numbers that were sprung on you by the county assembly?
No, actually, the county assembly are not the ones who have sprung these numbers on us. We always aim high. Of course, one of the major issues, cess has also dropped. Is because of the new road. That is being built. Along the Bombolulu road, and it. Oh.
Governor.
Oh.
Governor, underneath that, underneath that table, you have explained. You have provided an explanation for the 66.71% realization. I don't want to. I don't want to torture you to think too hard. Maybe just.
I take you through the explanations.
Yeah, for record.
Take you through the explanations.
Yeah, for record purposes.
Okay.
We see whether that explanation We see whether that explanation is sufficient.
Chair, one of the things that
is sufficient.
Chair, one of the things that we were able to do. The contract that Senator Faki was actually referring to, that we did.
Sorry, Governor. Sorry, Governor. There's an explanation there for cess.
Which is exactly what I said. The ongoing construction of the Malindi Mombasa Road by the government. Currently, there's a road being done there, has made it very, very difficult. In fact, a number of these cess booths have to constantly be relocated. So it has been a challenge in being able to reach to these particular figures. That is only one of the reasons that we have been able to, when it comes to cess alone.
So when you revised your figures upward by 200 million, I believe in a supplementary, that road had not started being constructed.
It had already, but then the extent of where the road reached by then was not where we had anticipated. And I want to state it as well. Are we going to see a drop in figures? No. We're going to definitely see an increase in figures. The only difference is where we aimed. What the auditor basically is raising is that where we aimed, we aimed too far. Again, Chair, we did not overthink the last 3 years. We have not done any major changes on any of these cess fees that are there as well. One of the other things that is also, and I know that this is going to be a debate, and I hope it does not become...
Sorry, Governor. The reason why we asked this question is that we have discovered in other cases, Kitui was one example. When we asked this question, the governor sat back and asked himself that indeed there could be something wrong. Because, for example, Kitui is a county that has a lot of sand harvesting activities. And when the numbers were just thrown, they just look like numbers. But when you go down and you look at the revenue coming from cess, and you quantify how much a truck pays, it appeared as if they were collecting cess from 5 trucks a day. And in Kitui, the senator tells us there are almost 200, 500 trucks per day. I'd like this to be questions that you don't have to be very defensive, that would probe us, would probe some detailed inquiry, because this is a report of the receiver of revenue. The receiver of revenue has submitted it, and if you look at the explanations under that table, the explanations are not quantifiable. For example, the shortage of collections in markets, your receiver of revenue says that this may be attributed to a combination of underperformance in enforcement, temporary closure of markets due to structural upgrades or health safety issues, and possible revision of market policies affecting collection efficiency. You can't take that. If you're a business owner and your revenue is falling, your revenue collectors cannot tell you that it is possibly because of ABCD. They must quantify that in market A, we used to collect X, we collected Y, and this is the reason. That's the level of discipline that we must instill. And that's why we're asking this. And where's your receiver of revenue? You are the receiver of revenue.
Yes.
You cannot tell me if I was running a business and my revenue is falling, then you give me all these adjectives and verbs that you are putting here, that possibly due to, or probably due to. No, you can't. You can't tell me that if I was running a butchery, that my meat sales is reducing, maybe because the economy is difficult. That cannot be the reason. Maybe you are pinching meat.
Yeah.
So, Governor, the entire narrative down here is not how to run a business. Our first meeting, you told us you wanted to run Mombasa like a business. But you cannot run a business when drop in revenue is explained with probabilities and possibilities. There has to be figures. So that's why I think we need to have this conversation. It might be painful, but we must have it.
Chair, I maybe because this is a house of records and we're on camera, we did not see a drop in revenue.
No.
We did not reach the targets.
We'll go stream by stream. We'll go stream by stream.
Yeah, we did not reach the targets, but we did not see a drop in revenue. Maybe I just thought that is something that we might want to just be.
We are dealing with numbers. We shall demonstrate where the drop was.
Yeah.
Senator Ombwe.
Now, two things, Governor, and the chair has done well to cite the Kitui matter. Let's also agree that this is also a learning process. You know, people learn things as they go. And you know what, Governor? If I sat where you are seated, I'll be very worried about two things. One, you project revenues and keep pushing the projections, and you budget based on the projections. But when it comes to the actual collections, you collect only 40% of the projection. That in itself first puts your books in a very bad shape. You have committed money that you have not raised, pending bills and all that. That's one. Secondly, Governor, you say that the road construction has had a significant impact on collection of cess. And then you add that the booths are constantly relocated. And I'm wondering, are they relocated from Mombasa to Kilifi, or are they just located within Mombasa? In which case then the same revenues will be collected, but maybe from different spots. That would be my submission, Chair.
Okay, Senator Faki.
Yeah, you know, Governor, the issue of a realistic budget is also hitting you politically. Because if you present a budget of, say we have a budget is 17 billion, yet in effect, the budget is 14 billion or so, it means that people start to conceive ideas that money is being misappropriated within the country. And if you go out there, you see some of the your opponent saying that pesa inaliwa kwa county yetu. Yet, if you come to the actual figures, the amount that we are collecting is not 17 billion. If you look at the some of the reasons given, for instance, property rent, 41.17% realization. The reason is that the shortfall is in property rent revenue is attributed to demolition of government housing units to pave way for the affordable housing project. This led to reduction in rentable units and consequently a decline in revenue from this stream. You see, from the year, this is the 24-25, isn't it? I didn't see any estate being demolished in Mombasa. The ones which were demolished prior to 2022. The Likoni one was done in 2020, just after COVID. Then the other estate is Mzizima, which was done more or less the same time. Changamwe is still there. So I think the issue is that you have to budget realistically. Yeah, not just throwing figures, and then at the end of the financial year, we are not able to explain how these figures were arrived at, because that's the explanation here is not plausible at all, considering that the estate in Mzizima was demolished during the previous administration, the one in Likoni, the same thing. So some of these things should be realistic. Thank you.
So just take note, then you respond. Senator Marumu.
Yeah, Chair, we must recognize that the revenues increased, from 4.4 to 4.8. That we must give to the county. But I have an issue with the overprojection, because then when you overproject our own source revenue, it's the main culprit in escalation of pending bills. Now, in my experience in this committee, is that as you are collecting revenue and you're maybe mid-year or three-quarter year, we need to revise our projections downwards depending on the collections. Otherwise, if you adjust upwards and then you end up collecting less, then again our escalation of pending bills would still continue upwards. And I think what should happen is, as we audit through the year and you look at how we are collecting, all the revenues are streaming in, then we need to adjust downwards and leave out some projects so that we have less pending bills at the end of the year. That is the advice that we give to governors, that don't again increase, adjust upwards, yet we know whatever is coming in might not meet the target.
Governor?
Chair, I take the advice of the Senate with the seriousness that it deserves. It is true, we have been maybe overly ambitious in our planning, but we usually, the team does meet, gives me a brief on cess, what is the revenue stream, each and every one. And I said this because I know this might end up being the whole subject of discussion. But one of the major revenue streams that has actually been dropped in this is the revenue stream on Mira and Muguka. Mombasa made a very, very deliberate social judgment to actually state that the vice that Muguka and Mira is providing to our people is a challenge. In the process of that, we went to court. I think I've never been taken to court more than that. I've been taken to court by about 9 times. We threw this to the public because only one court ruled against Mombasa, and that is the court that actually where Muguka is from, coincidentally. So a decision was made, and we made a very, very valid decision to change the tariffs that are there. It has caused quite a number of people to be changed from where they're meant to be within the county government of Mombasa. But if we go back and say that, start reducing the figures of Muguka and Mira from the cess, because of the roads being built and also because of the bypasses being put up and everything else, there has been this particular one. What has been happening is these traders are now waiting out of Mombasa and putting these in small vehicles, and then they come into Mombasa. Let me rephrase this, because Mira actually Muguka was one of the largest earners on cess. But we had to make a conscious decision. And I'm stating this again, Chair, with the hope that that is not the narrative of today's whole meeting will be. That is what I was really holding back on stating one of the major, because when you look at the item, cess is totally digitized. When you look at the items, people are still using tomatoes, people are still using all the other issues that are there. One of the things that we are currently doing is we have put in an automated gate system as well on our market, where anything that goes into the market, there's going to be a reading whether that particular vehicle was able to pay for cess or not. One of the other things that we're doing is we're in the process of setting up 300 cameras, and I'm glad it had been a challenge for a while because of communication between the service provider. Kenya Power had to put in power in all these poles, but we have CCTV currently, and we're hoping we're going to be launching this by next week, which is going to have both number plate recognition, so we can be able to see which vehicle has not been able to pay cess. The CCTV is going to be linked as well to the cess collection system, so that if a vehicle has passed and it was not picked at the cess point as well, we can now be able to know. These are some of the things that we are trying to do. But when you look at the nitty-gritties, Chair, when you look at the nitty-gritties, when a projection was put into place, with the bearing in mind that the Muguka and Mira will be this amount, and we're not receiving the amount that we are actually meant to be receiving. In fact, we were ready to forego and forfeit the whole thing. If you look at the nitty-gritties,
that may bring a lot of trouble. Just on that Mira and Muguka.
And that's why I said I was really holding back.
Yes.
I was really holding back.
I was thinking that 24-25, by the time you're doing your projections, you'd already pronounced yourself on the issue of Muguka in Mombasa.
Yes.
By the time you're doing these projections, I'm assuming that you're saying a forfeited revenue stream from Muguka. So it's not part of this.
No. Senator,
as Governor says,
but the case,
Governor, let me
the
help
court case was before this budget.
Governor, let me help you. As you've said, we don't want the report to be that your revenue dropped because of Muguka.
Which, by the way, is not a problem for me. As the county government of Mombasa and as the governor of Mombasa, my conscience is extremely clear
but let's look
that
at
we
the
would
numbers.
rather not have that money.
Receive of revenue. When you break down cess, we can see that quarrying, sand, gravel, and ballast extraction fee, there's a specific amount there, 519 million. And I think that is what would have been affected by the road construction. But there's another
you say
stream.
Mombasa is getting 500 million from sand?
500 million.
And it is getting 4 million?
Yes. So now let's go to farm produce.
Speak to me nicely.
Because you've talked about the tomatoes and the vegetables. Receive of revenue, what, under farm produce, horticulture, what is this? Where do you collect this from? Is it from the markets or the trucks that come to?
It is actually considered, it is the normal word that it is actually used as is cess. But the actual word should be actually drop off.
No, it's separated. It's separated here in the financial statements. And in your financial statements, you have reported 262,000, which means you're collecting 720 shillings a day. So what is this?
No, we're actually collecting way more. When it cess is being collected way more.
You have reported 720 shillings a day.
Maybe you might want to, Chair, to give me the page that which you're referring to.
The note to the financial statements that breaks down cess into farm produce, quarrying, livestock certificates, fish farming, and others. Because, Governor, if you don't ask these questions, and if you don't prod you to ask these questions, people are going to run rings around you.
Chair, if I'm not mistaken, this is for produces that are actually grown in Mombasa. We don't have any farms within the county government of Mombasa.
So you collect 720 shillings a day?
It is on average. We actually only have one area in Mombasa that does farming, and even that farming in itself is in such a minor element. And this is the area of Mwakirunge that does a bit of
Governor,
farming.
no, I think let's focus, and that's why I keep referring you to the notes, because for sand, gravel, and ballast extraction fee, that's separate, 519 million. But for farm produce, you are talked of drop-off, something like that. And we know, even in Marikiti, we know that there's a way the Kanjo levies something.
Yeah.
Or when you come with your onions or tomatoes or whatever, there is a fee that is paid. So what has been reported here of 262,000 indicates that on average you're collecting 720 shillings a day.